live stream like we've done a couple days in the past. We have fun with the live stream. Why? Because we have no time limit. One of my friends said, you have long shows, but today we're going to try to keep it shorter. And I said, there's no time limit on a live stream, so it's a lot of fun. And we don't have to like get cut off. Unless my camera goes bad on me, then we're going to be cut off. But today, we're going to be talking about Speedway, especially tomorrow night's 2020 FIM AMA World Championship Qualifier. It should be pretty cool. It's going to be at the Perris Speedway. So we're going to go ahead and review that today. We're going to talk about it. And we're going to go over the importance of it and the top 16 riders who's going to be riding in that event. And there's going to be like this kind of runoff thing where they're going to get 2 riders to go into that racing. The big show, the big show. We're going to talk about that today. And we're going to talk about Speedway and much, much more. Steve Evans has worked very hard in 2020 to promote American Speedway and in Perris especially. And while a lot of the events and the promoters can't run this year, Steve Evans, I don't know how Steve Evans did it, but Steve Evans was able to run his full race schedule in the middle of the pandemic. Steve Evans has earned a name for himself as the only United States Speedway promoter to run all of his races during the 2020 race season. So congratulations, Steve Evans. I know it must not be easy. I saw Steve like panicking half the year trying to get sponsors and putting everything together. But luckily for Steve, he has a nice track to work with. That's Steve's big advantage versus like Costa Mesa, Industry Hills, and other tracks that have government regulations. Steve Evans at the Perris Speedway, it's a privately owned company and they allow motocross riders to ride, practice every day, and it's a little more lenient even though they have to follow the COVID guidelines. So we're going to talk about all that stuff today. And we're going to talk about the AMA FIM World Qualifier today and all the different rules and regulations that the AMA guidelines puts out for that event. So we're going to talk a lot about the Speedway, about tomorrow night's Speedway race. It's tomorrow night. I mean, it's coming like tomorrow. We got that race coming up fast. That's why I decided to do this live stream today. So we can talk about the racing tomorrow and hopefully you can learn something about it if you don't know this. And they're going to take the top 2 riders tomorrow. So you think like only the winner is going to be like the champion and everything, kind of like the way it usually is. But tomorrow they're going to have the top 2 riders are going to go ahead and qualify for the May 21st World Championship qualifying rounds. We'll talk about that in a minute. And the first place will go ahead and get $1,000 prize money of the $5,000 purse. And so they're going to pull home a cool $1,000 if they win tomorrow night. And the second place is going to go ahead and pull home a cool $750. So we're going to talk more about that soon. And we're going to go ahead and talk about the money. The money is great, but there's something more important than the money. And that is what? That is to be in the top 2 to qualify for that May 21st Grand Prix Series runoff event. And the top 2 are going to do that. And also there'll be 15 races, only 15 races from entering the GP Series. So these riders tomorrow night are very close to entering that GP Series. So if you want to win, you're going to continue to advance. And that's kind of what you need to do is you need to keep winning and advancing. Only 15 rides from the GP Series. And that's the 2022. We'll talk about that too. So there are going to be 4 pools of 16 riders. So the top 2 riders are going to advance And there's going to be in May 2021, there's going to be 4 different pools, like rider pools, of 16 riders per pool. And out of those 16 riders next May of 2021, they're going to have the winner of each pool. So there'll be 4 winners. Pool 1, 2, 3, 4. There's going to be 4 winners. And those winners are going to go direct to the 2022 GP Series. It's like the Monopoly game. Go to jail, go directly to jail, do not stop, pass go, go directly. Well, that's what these guys are going to do if those in the 64 rider pool. They're going to go directly to the GP Series. They're not going to stop. They're not going to go anywhere. They're going to go directly to that GP Series. And it's going to be pretty cool. So that's kind of what's at stake tomorrow night, is the chance to go to the GP Series. And that's going to be exciting. And the AMA representatives are going to be Steve Evans and Paul Flanders. So they're going to be the officials tomorrow night. So if you have any questions or anything that you have concerns with, you'll have to see Steve Evans or Paul Flanders. They're going to go ahead and help you with that. And each event is going to be run accordingly to the AMA rulebook. So they're going to follow the AMA rulebook because it's an FIM AMA sanctioned event. You got to follow the rules. And if you have any questions, talk to Steve and Paul about that. And they're going to go ahead. The referee is going to be Tom Fox. Do you know Tom Fox? And Tom is going to be the referee. And he's going to go ahead and make the final decisions of the race event. So let's just say it's better just to win and like have a good night. I remember when I was racing, a couple times I had to have the decision of the referee and he went against me and I was mad and stuff like that. And then finally I said to myself, Brian, just win the races, just win the freaking races. And then guess what? The referee has no say-so of anything. So the best advice I can give to you is just go ahead and win the races. Forget the referee. Go ahead and win that races, and then you have automatically guaranteed of that success. So if you have to rely on the referee, he's probably going to go against you, and then it's going to be bad. So, but the referee has the final decision. So if you have a protest tomorrow night, if you're a rider and you don't like something that happened, or somebody knocked you off, or something happened that you're not happy about, you can ask the referee, but if the referee says, like, for example, let's say somebody knocked you off and then you say, why that guy should be excluded and I should win that race or be second place. And the referee says, no, that's not happening. You have to respect the referee. Always respect the referee, even if you don't like what he says. So the referee is going to make the final decision. There's going to be no written protest or no protests like that. If whatever the referee says, it's the final decision. Just remember that one. So that's the referee. Tom Fox is going to be the referee. And the clerk of the course is going to be Kevin Fife. I don't know what the clerk of the course is. It sounds pretty cool. Maybe he's in the middle of the course with a typewriter or computer like, I don't know what the clerk of the course. I never heard of that one. But Kevin Fife is the clerk of the clerk. He's the clerk. And the technical inspector tomorrow night is going to be Kenny Hansen. Now, Kenny is going to be inspecting the bikes. So go ahead and keep your bikes legal. Don't do anything fishy. Kenny is a smart guy. Do you know Kenny Hansen? Kenny Hansen's been around forever. I raced Kenny a couple times. And Kenny was a sponsor and helper of Bobby Boogaloo Sports for many years. So Kenny knows a lot about Speedway. And probably that's why Steve Evans picked Kenny to be the technical inspector. So Kenny's going to do a great job tomorrow night, and he's going to go around inspecting all of your bikes. So you better, keep your bikes up to par. And Kenny will go ahead and inspect all the bikes. He's the inspector, Kenny Hansen. Okay, so that's that. And we have all riders will be provided with these stickers. I don't like that myself. You know, I don't like people giving me a sticker like you have to wear the sticker. But that's the rules. That's the rules, dude. You gotta do it. Maybe stick it under your fender if you don't like it or something. But you have to proudly display the AMA sticker. That's in the rule book. And so I'm just talking to you about what the rules say, not what I think, because I don't really like those things. But you have to proudly display these AMA stickers, either on your helmet. Don't do that. Just put it on your bike somewhere, you know, like somebody can see it. And you have to keep that sticker on the bike the entire race. And then when you go home at the end of the race, you can peel that sticker off and get rid of it. But the rules say you must keep that sticker. So you're going to be issued these stickers, and you must keep them in some visible place, not underneath the fender, but you have to kind of keep it on your bike somewhere. And then when you go home, you can like discard that sticker if you want, or keep it there if you like promoting the AMA. I'm not into that kind of thing, but some of you might like that, so go ahead and keep it. But that's the rules. You got to keep that sticker on your bike. Alrighty. And another thing is that you can go ahead and advertise anywhere you want. So, for example, if you have your sponsor on your chest, or your helmet, or your fork cover, or your engine bike cover, you can go ahead and do that. There's no problem. So full advertising, everyone needs a sponsor, and so that's good. The AMA is allowing full advertisement of your sponsors, so that's really wonderful. So go ahead and proudly display your sponsors and get some money so you can continue racing from your sponsor. So that's good. So you can have a full reign of your advertising. There's no problem with that. Alrighty, and then promoter Steve Evans. Do you know that guy, Steve? Yeah, you know Steve. Yeah, Steve's from the pond. We love Steve, and he's a great guy. Also, the fuel for tomorrow night will be provided by Steve Evans. Poor Steve, he has to go to Cody's and buy a lot of fuel for that event. And they're going to go ahead and provide that fuel. So don't bring any fuel to the races, because all the fuel will be provided by the promoter. That way they can guarantee that there's going to be, the fuel's not going to have any additives to it, and everyone's going to have an even playing surface. So that's what they're going to do tomorrow, is they're going to, don't bring your fuel. The methanol will be provided by Steve Evans, and they're going to go ahead and ration that out somehow and make sure everyone gets proper fuel for the races. So maybe bring a can, empty can or something. I don't know what to do, but they're going to make their own rules and regulations for the fuel. So that's something that's going to happen, and you don't have to spend no money on fuel. So that's very good. I like that one. Alrighty. So, and also the rear tires. The rear tires are going to be what's in the AMA rule book. So you must run whatever it says. I like the Carlisle. Do you remember the Carlisles? They were really cool and they're like nice. But I don't think that's in the rule book. So you can go ahead and run whatever is in the rule book, and you must follow the rules and regulations. The front tire you don't have to worry about, right? It's a front tire. But the rear tire is what you have to be concerned with the rule book. It's the rear tire, not the front tire. Okay. And also they have what's called a substance abuse policy. Do you know what the substance abuse policy is? It means no drugs. No to drugs. If you're a Speedway rider going for this World Championship qualifier, you should not be doing drugs. Any kind of drugs. Because drugs is not going to help you. You must have a clear mind, clear vision, and you must be successful. And doing any kind of substance is very, very bad. So you're probably not going to have success if you do that. So, but they can go ahead and do random testing so if they expect something from you, or if they just want to do it, they can say, hey, dude, we're going to do a urine test on you for the drugs. So they're going to go ahead, they can do it at any time, at any rider. It's only the riders, so don't worry about it if you're like the pitman. Nobody cares about the pitman. but the riders they care about. So just stay clean. I'm sure everyone is, and I'm sure that we don't have to lecture you about it, but that's what's going to happen. So if somebody asks you to do a drug test, like a urine test or something, don't worry about it, because that's part of the AMA rules, and that could happen to anyone at any time tomorrow night. Okay, so we're going to move along to the seating for the event tomorrow night. Who's going to ride this really cool race? We're going to have 16 top riders, and they're going to go ahead and race for that money and for that chance to ride in that World Championship qualifier in next May of 2021. And the riders in order, the number one rider, the defending champion of last year's event, is going to be Billy the Kid Gennaro. Billy is an amazing rider. He's an elderly rider. He's no longer a kid. He's kind of like an older guy now, so we got to change his name. I talked about that in one of my last live streams. We talked about Chris the Kid Manchester. Chris was like 40 or 50 years old, and they're like, Chris the Kid Manchester. And the announcer thought about it and said, God, Chris is like 50, 40 years old. He's no longer a kid. Chris, the old man, Manchester. So Billy the Kid is getting older now, and Billy is a famous rider. He's won like umpteen championships. Billy is one of the most feared riders out there, and he's gunning for it all the time. He's a hardcore rider. He's a great rider, and that's Billy Gennaro. So he's going to be racing, number one. He's going to be racing. And number three is going to be Dylan Romo. And Dylan is a really up-and-coming young rider. They advertise a lot of things about him, where he wants to go to Europe and race. Dylan really has that heart. It's really good to see that, actually. It's good to see riders come out and say, you know what, I have that heart, and I want to succeed. I want to go to Europe. I want to be a Speedway rider. I want to be the best. I want to be a world champion. I mean, not enough people do that, and Dylan's doing that. So tip my hat off to Dylan for his enjoyment of the sport and his desire. There's nothing wrong with like saying you want to go to Europe or you want to have success. You know, as a young person, I remember I was shy, and so I know what it's like. But as an older guy, I'm not so shy now. As you know, I'm not shy. So it's okay to say, like, I want to succeed. I want to go to Europe. And Dylan Romo is doing that. And congratulations, Dylan. You're going to do it. So just keep your head up and keep your brain in the game and your throttle hand going, and you're going to do well. So congratulations for Dylan for that. And number 4 is the third rider in the event tomorrow night, and that's going to be the amazing Brock Nickel. Do you know Brock Nickel? He is the 2020 United States National Champion. He's a 2-time United States National Champion, and he's like 20 or 21 or 22 years old. I mean, he's not very old to have 2 U.S. championships. Brock Nickel is an amazing rider. He's a great rider. He's a cool cat. Brock is cool. If you want to learn how to be cool, you go to Brock Nickel. And he's a good fisherman too. He got this really big fish. So Brock can feed the whole world. I mean, Brock has lots of fish at home. So if you want fish, you go see Brock Nickel. And Brock is a very top rated rider. He's going to definitely do well tomorrow. And we wish Brock all the luck in the world. He's going to just have a great night, we know. And the next rider, the 4th rider, is going to be Max Romo. Do you know Max Romo? He's the leading point getter all year long at the Perris Speedway. Max Romo has won all the scratch mains. I mean, he is an amazing rider. Max is just, I mean, he's got talent galore, and he's the number 1 rider at the Perris Speedway this year. So if you race Max and you think you have an easy race, you have another thing coming to you, because Max is amazing, and he is just a great talent. He's maturing now. He's not so much the really young rider that he was, and he's coming into his own. So we wish Max also all the luck in the world, and if he has his head in the game, Max is going to be very, very high tomorrow night at that Speedway race. And like I said, we wish all the riders good luck, and Max also. And the next rider, number 7. I like that. I have number 77. I like. We have Austin Navarrato. Do you know Austin? He's a great rider. I saw Austin when he was like 10 years old, and he was like smoking out at Victorville Raceway. Austin is just an amazing talent. He's just a great rider. When Austin is on, like nobody gonna beat Austin. He's a good rider, and he's got a lot of talent. So Austin is one of those riders that he's a dark horse. He could just come up anytime and just smoke you. So if you're racing Austin tomorrow, better put on your A game, because Austin will be out to win that race. And Austin is just, like I say, amazing talent, and he's a great rider. So we're gonna have Austin. And next is the old man. The old man. I'm gonna fall off my chair when I say that. We have the great Eddie Castro. Fast Eddie Castro. He is like 20 or 30 years the oldest rider to this event. I can't believe Eddie made this event, and he's a great rider. Eddie's been around forever, since I think before they invented water, Eddie Castro was like riding Speedway. And Fast Eddie has endured cancer and all kinds of challenges, and he's riding hard today, and he gives it all he's got. Amazing, right? He's in his 60s. I mean, there's nobody near the 60s. I think Aaron Fox is like the next oldest rider, and he's like 30 or something. So we have a really old rider and a really good rider. So congratulations, Fast Eddie. I mean, who else at that age is racing in the World Qualifier? Fast Eddie Castro, amazing guy. He's a good friend, and we love Eddie Castro. So good luck, Eddie. We hope you do well. And the next rider, we have an up-and-coming rider, number 16, Sebastian Palomisi. Sebastian's a great young rider. I remember Sebastian when he was a little kid riding at the Industry Hills Speedway. He was like this little kid. He was like the tiny, about 2 feet tall, with this big helmet. It was like bigger than his body, and Sebastian was out there riding. And I said, God, that guy is really tiny. And now Sebastian is not so tiny. He's really good. He placed second in the 21 and under national championships this year, last month at the Perris Speedway. And Sebastian's a great rider. He's really an up-and-coming rider. He's the front runner to win next year's 21 and under championship. So Sebastian is really a hot young rider. He can ride. I don't know where he learned all this stuff from, but Sebastian definitely learned it, and he's a great rider. So watch out, world, for Sebastian Palomisi. He's really an amazing talent, and he's up and coming. Sebastian is just like young, and he's just starting his progress. He's not an established rider like some of these, like most of these riders. Sebastian's a very young rider, and the ceiling is like very endless for Sebastian. So keep going, Sebastian. You're doing great. All right, the next rider we have is number 16, and Anthony Dion. Anthony's a great rider. He surprised me in the 21 under. He rode hard. I think he got like 3rd place or something. And Anthony's just another amazing talent. There's so much good talent now that it's really great. I mean, Speedway has so many great riders, and Anthony Dion is one of them. And so these guys, Anthony's one of the young riders, like Sebastian is, just like growing and progressing. So he's not quite seasoned like some of these other guys are, but Anthony is one of those guys that will continue to progress, and he's probably going to have a good showing tomorrow night. So watch out, world. Anthony Dion is in town. Anthony's in the house. So he's a good rider, and we wish Anthony all the best. And the next rider we have is number 22. It's not Danny Bazurko Becker, it's Luke Becker. And Luke is one of the top riders, young riders today in American Speedway. Luke rides for the Wolverhampton Wolves, and he also signed a contract to ride in the Polish League. So, I mean, Luke is really famous. I mean, if you younger riders, like the guys I just talked about, Sebastian and Anthony, if if you want to look at up to some riders who are like your age that are really successful, you want to look at Luke Becker. He's really a great rider, and he's a future champion and star in American and possibly World Championship Speedway. This guy is definitely have the world is his playground. Just stay healthy, Luke, and you can go all the way. Luke Becker, great rider. Expect him to do well tomorrow night. I mean, he's going to be up there. He's going to be in the top, the top there, top rung. So Luke Becker's an amazing rider, and he's going to do extremely well. So if you're racing Luke Becker, you better watch out. He's a great rider. So Luke Becker. And the next rider we have is number 24, Gino Manzares. Gino is a seasoned rider. Gino has been riding in Europe and England for several years, and Gino is a good rider. He has come home now and is racing in his local area, and he's taken his experience that he learned over at the pond and brought it home. And Gino is one of those guys that could definitely score some points, and who knows, Gino could go up there at the top if he has a good night. So Gino's a great rider, and we wish Gino all the luck, and take that skill and all that, the experience you learned in England, and apply that, and you'll do really well. Gino Manzares, number 24. And the next rider we have is Blake Barillo. Blake Barillo! I like that guy's name. I can say it good, too. And Blake has an amazing uniform. Blake, wear your fluorescent color uniform. Why? Because if the lights go out tomorrow night, we will be able to see who? Blake Barillo. So Blake has a cool uniform. I love Blake's uniform. It has all these fluorescent stripes in it. Now wear that uniform. If you don't, I'll cry. It's really great. But besides his uniform, Blake is a great rider. He plays 4th place in this year's United States National Championship in New York. Blake is a great rider. He's a hardcore rider. He's a young rider, up-and-coming rider, and Blake has all the talent in the world. So we wish Blake all the luck, and we know that he has the skill to definitely give it a good run and hopefully have success. So Blake is one of those riders that we don't know. He's going to break out one of these days, and he's going to have a very successful racing career in Speedway, and that's Blake Barillo. So we like Blake, and we wish him all the luck in the world and all the best in the world. Blake, you can do it, bud. And the next one we have is the second oldest rider. We talked about him a little bit, and he's a cool dude. It's number 46, Aaron Fox. Aaron Fox is like, I don't know, he's like 30 years old or something. And he's the second oldest. The whole field is basically young except for Billy Gennaro, Aaron Fox, and Eddie Castro. They're all like teenagers, and they're all really good. And Aaron Fox is one of the middle-aged guys, and he's in his 30s, around Billy Gennaro's age. And he is a former United States National Speedway champion. So Aaron Fox is no walk in the park. I mean, he is a good rider. And Aaron Fox is one of the smartest riders out there. Because I watch Aaron race, and he uses his mind a lot. And that's how you become successful as a Speedway rider. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But Aaron Fox is a great rider, a seasoned pro, and he's a good rider that should do well tomorrow night in the FIM AMA World Championship Qualifier. Good luck to you, Aaron. Hope you do well. We know you're going to definitely give it all you got. So, good job. And the next we have is a young rider, number 134, Kyle Cunningham. Do you know Kyle Cunningham? I got to know Kyle in the past few weeks, especially during the 21 and under event. And Kyle's a really great rider. He's a hardcore dude, man. He can ride. You expect to see Kyle for years to come. I mean, that guy is good. He's got talent. All these guys got talent. And Kyle is no different. He's a great rider. And, you expect to see a lot from Kyle. And he's one of those riders like Sebastian and Anthony that is really young, but they just have all the promise in the world. So we wish you all the luck in the world, Kyle. You're a great rider, great competitor, and we know you're going to give it all you got. And we're going to expect to see some great things from who? Kyle Cunningham. He really is good, and we're looking forward to seeing his continued progress in the Speedway. And the last guy, last but not least, is the Rocket. Do you know the Rocket? Russell Green, number 321. Russell has kept his number 321, and all these riders have got single-digit numbers and double-digit numbers, and Russell has kept his 321 from his D3 days about 15 years ago. Russell's been riding for a long time, and he's actually one of the senior riders also. He's got lots of experience. Russell's a good rider. He's a smart. Russell, every year, just gets a little better and a little better and a little better. He's a great rider, and honestly, I didn't think Russell was going to be as good as he is now. And Russell's a great rider. He has definitely exceeded all the expectations from most people. Russell just continues to progress. He's a good rider, and he just definitely has lots of talent. He's a smooth rider. If you race Russell Green, you're going to ride against a very smooth rider, and that's good. A safe rider. Russell's a great rider, uses his brains, and we expect a lot of good things from Russell Green, the Rocket. Let's see, we have Ronnie Corey, the Rocket, we have Rick Woods, the Rocket, and we have Russell Green, the Rocket. So that's good. He's a great rider, and we wish you all the best. Russell Green. And next, we have these wild card races. Steve Evans thinks of everything. And the wild card is pretty cool. Actually, it's a good idea. Why? Because it gives lots of riders a chance to go into the big show. So it's pretty cool. Steve got like 10 guys or 8 guys. We're going to talk about one girl. And they go ahead and qualify. And there's going to have the top 2 riders. They're going to go and advance into the big show. And the rest of the 8 riders or whatever are going to go home or go fishing or watch the races. Hopefully, watch the races. Don't go home. And night fishing is not very good, so just stay at the races and enjoy the show. So it's going to be like 2 semis, 1 last chance race, and a main event. So they're going to give these riders a chance to qualify and a last chance. So you want to score pretty high, right, in your first few rides. You want to like win or get second place for sure. You don't want to be 3rd or 4th, really. That's not going to help you. But it's a fast progressing sort of system. So you're going to go ahead and have the 2 semis, the last chance. If you don't do well, you're going to have a last chance to get into the main, and then the main event. And the top 2 riders are going to advance to the big show. And so you want to be in the top 2. So we're going to wish all these riders good luck. And the riders are number 80, Stevie Bonsi. Stevie, I don't know much about Stevie, so we're going to learn a little bit about Stevie here. And we wish you all the best, Stevie. And we have number 101, Redmond Bohannon. And I don't know much about Redmond either, but we wish Redmond all the best in the world. And the next rider, we have Dylan Wagner. Do you know Dylan Wagner? I don't, but Dylan, just do a good job, stay smart, and hopefully you can have good success tomorrow night at the Perris Speedway. Dylan Wagner. And then next, I know this girl, that's number 144, Sarah Cords. She's an amazing rider, and Sarah has a good chance of advancing to the big show. She rides Perris really good. So if you're riding in that pool, you guys, and you're riding Sarah, you've got to put on your A game, because Sarah definitely has a good chance of advancing, and everybody has a good chance. Why? Because they start off at 0-0, right? So everyone's even. But Sarah is a good rider, and she has a good chance of advancing. So you want to be really careful if you race who? Sarah Cords, because she is a really good rider, and she rides Perris pretty dang good. She knows that track. So ride hard, Sarah, and you'll do well. So congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you in the big show. And the next person we have is number 168, Mark Philliborn. Mark is, I don't know Mark, so I can't really talk about Mark, but he's another one of the youngers. See all these young riders? It's really great that Steve Evans does this, because a lot of these riders who don't get notoriety, I don't know a lot of these riders. I'm honest, I'm not going to say I know somebody if I don't know them. And these riders get a chance to compete at a higher level, these young riders. So it's really great. And thank you, Steve, for giving the young riders a chance to compete in the big show tomorrow night. And so that's Mark, and we wish you all the best, Mark. And next we have 173, Reese Todd. Reese is a friend of mine on Facebook, and he injured himself on the last race. I think it was a 21 and under race. He messed up his pinky really bad, and I hope Reese races this race. I didn't expect him to, actually. Reese is an amazing young rider. He's a great guy. He's a cool dude. If you want a good friend, you go see Reese Todd. And he's a nice guy. He's really, really a dedicated Speedway rider. He's one of those young riders, and we're friends, and, you know, he just really wants to succeed at Speedway, and he will if he continues to put his heart and mind into the sport, and he'll do really, really well. That's Reese Todd, number 173, and we wish you all the best and luck in the world if you race. And I'm shocked. I'm really shocked. He totally mangled his hand up, and I guess he's got to tape it up really good. No crashing, Reese, and go ahead and have a good night. So we wish you all the best. And the next we have Kyle LeGrand. Kyle's number 185, and I think I raced against his papa. And Kyle, if he's like his papa, he's a pretty good rider. So we wish Kyle all the luck in the world, and I'm sure he's going to do really well. And next we have Michael Wells. He's a friend of mine on Facebook. Actually, when I was a racer, Michael was just a little kid, and he used to get my autograph, and his dad bought a Bumblebee shirt, and, you know, Michael was a big Bumblebee fan when he was little. Now he doesn't even remember. He's like, oh, I don't know that guy. But I like Michael Wells, and we kind of inspired him to get into Speedway years ago. And Michael, it was, on his Facebook, maybe it's his mother or something, they were posting he was in North Carolina this week working, and I'm like, what? Maybe it's his dad or something, but if you're in North Carolina, Michael, get your butt home. There's a race tomorrow night. I'm sure he's home, but I thought that was really funny. I saw, like, Michael Wells is working in North Carolina, and I'm like, what in the world is that? So maybe it was a mistake or something. But we expect to see Michael Wells, number 214, at the racetrack. And Michael is a good rider. He's really a strong, up-and-coming rider, and we expect to see some good things from Michael Wells. And next, last but not least, we have number 323, Mike Miller. Michael Miller. That sounds like a good Speedway name. I don't know Mike very well, but we wish Mike all the best in the world. And look at all these young riders. It's really great. So we have a big, bright future in American Speedway with all these young riders, established, seasoned, veteran young riders, to the new up-and-coming riders, like a lot of these guys we just talked about. These are all people that are going to progress, and they're very young, and they're going to go ahead and see lots of success. So riders are going to have to display their names on the back of their uniforms. So I guess some of the riders really don't need that, but let's just say if you see Billy Gennaro racing and he doesn't have his name, and you look at him like, I don't know who that rider is. You know who Billy Gennaro is, or Max Romo, or Luke Becker, or Brock Nickel. I mean, but you still have to follow the AMA rules and have your name in the back of your uniform, your shirt, or your leathers, or your Kevlars. You must provide your last name, which you do, but that's kind of a funny rule. It's like the old SRA rule. You have to have your name and your number, a certain size inches and everything. It's really crazy. Everyone knows who you are, but that's the rules. You must follow them. And also the entry fee for tomorrow night's race is $45 for the riders and $30 for the mechanics. And there's going to be no like pit passes or grandstand passes, because I think they're not allowing people that go in and spectate. Only the pay-per-view at the Speedway, ExtremeSpeedwayAction.com, you can order the pay-per-view for tomorrow night's event for like $20. And you can watch the whole event. And Steve's got a lot of races going on, not only the FIM races, but he's got the hooligans and all these things. I think D3 and all this stuff. I think so. And Steve likes to put a lot of people on the program and make those marathon races. The last race he did, it was like 5 hours long. It was like 80, 70, 80 races. And he didn't even groom the track once. He just watered it a couple times and run races. If you want to, I think Steve made the Guinness Book of World Records. The Guinness Book of World Records. Steve Evans for the longest speedway race ever. And hopefully we can make this one a little shorter. So we like kind of a little shorter races. But Steve had a long one last time. It's probably in the Guinness Book of World Records already. So anyways, so that's that. And it's going to be the normal AMA FIM rules. It's going to be 16 riders in the show. It's going to be 5 rides each. I like that one. 4 rides is no good. 5 rides, that's cool. You get 5 rides to go ahead and win for 15 points for the 5 rides. So it's really good. You get as many points as you can, that's for sure. And all riders have a maximum, all races have 4 riders maximum. So there's not going to be any 5 rider races. Maybe there'll be 3 rider if they don't have a rider to take the place. But they cannot exceed the 4 rider race. And they cannot exceed the 4 laps. So the race will not exceed 4 laps. So there'll be no 5-lap race. There'll be no 3-lap race. All the races will be what? 4 laps. So get ready for 4 laps. That shouldn't be too bad. And so that's going to happen. Also, the first place is going to be standard 3 points. Second place, oh, we want 3 points. So if we get 3 points times 5, that's 15, and we're the winner. Second place is going to be 2 points. And third place is going to be 1 point, not so good. And last place is the big goose egg. And we don't want that one. If you get the goose egg or 1 point, if you keep getting, you're not going to do real well tomorrow night. So get the 3 or 2 points and you're going to be doing better. So that's going to be the way it works. And the final determination, who's going to win tomorrow night, of course, is going to be determined by what? By points. The top point getter is going to win tomorrow night's event. So get the top points and you're going to do really well. That's kind of how it works normally, but that's the way that AMA has said it was going to be, which is probably a good idea. And so the top 3 finishers, if the top 3 finishers are going to be in a tie, there's going to be a tie breaker. So there's going to be a runoff. If you're 4th place through 16, there's going to be no tiebreaker. But if you're 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, and you're tied, you're going to have a tiebreaker. And that's going to consist of, if you race that guy, let's say you beat the other guy that's tied with you, you're going to have the first choice, I believe, as pole position. You can pick whatever pole you like. So think about, like, when you're racing tomorrow night, what pole that you like the best in case you have a tiebreaker. You can go ahead and use that to your advantage. So think about these things. And that's how it's going to work. Top 3 are going to have a tiebreaker. What else is going to happen? Between rounds, there's going to be a 7-minute break. So you're going to have 7 minutes to go ahead and have a breather. Hopefully you have a crew, your Speedway pit crew, going to be cleaning your tires, be putting fuel and oil in your bike, changing your gears, preparing your bike, and hopefully you can just sit down and have a rest. And then there's going to be 7 minutes between rounds. So they're going to give you an additional 7-minute break. So that's going to be good. I remember when I was racing, I like that 7-minute break because, you get tired, especially race after race. It's very stressful as far as, you get really tired and, you need that rest. So 7 minutes is very good. And the event of a postponement, in case the race is postponed, let's say it rains, hopefully it's not going to rain, or any kind of postponement, the AMA rules and regulations, say that you must finish 3 rounds of Speedway, exciting Speedway action. So if you race 3 rounds or more, let's say you're in your 4th round and it rains, it's okay. The match is final and the points, whoever wins and stuff like that, it's a finished race. But if you race, let's say 1, 2, or you're in your 3rd round and let's say it rains real heavy and they have to stop the event, it's not finished. They'll have to continue that at a later date. So if it's 4 rounds or more, it's a final race. And if it's under 3 rounds, it's not. So that's how it works tomorrow. It won't be raining, but that's the way the AMA rulebook says. So we must follow the rules of the AMA. And that's the rules. So that's how it works. And the top 2 riders are going to advance to the 2021 World Championship qualifier like we talked about. But let's say a rider wins. Let's just, for example, we just say this, we don't really know who's going to win, but let's just say, for example, a rider, let's say like a Billy Gennaro wins, and let's just say we don't know who's going to win, so we're not pulling for anyone in particular. And let's say Billy wins, but he doesn't want to go to England and he doesn't want to deal with it. He wants to stay with his family. He's not into it. And let's say Aaron Fox or something like that. They're not really interested in going to Europe for next year. Then he can go ahead or Eddie Castro too. They can go ahead and they can release their spot. And so the 3rd place rider, that's if the 2nd place rider goes, the 3rd place rider will take the 1st place rider's spot. So there's always going to be 2 riders going to the World Qualifier. And if the 1st place or 2nd place rider doesn't want to participate, that will be handed down to the next in line. And so there's always going to be 2 riders, and that's how that's going to work. And the prize money, we like the prize. Do you like the prize money? We like the prize money. The more, the better. It's going to be $5,000. $5,000. Good job, Steve. You got a nice AMA purse for this event. $5,000. That's pretty cool. And the winner, like I mentioned earlier, is going to take home a crisp $1,000 bill. They don't have a $1,000 bill. Actually, it's going to be a check. Steve's going to do the Venmo, PayPal, Zelle check within 5 days. So whatever money you make, and hopefully the $1,000, they have 5 days to go ahead and pay you. So don't bug Steve tomorrow night, because he's probably not going to be able to pay you. But he will pay you. I know Steve. He's an honest and good guy. And he's going to figure out how you want to get paid. So you're going to have that all arranged. Also, the 2nd place is going to make $750. That's a good night's work, $750 for 2nd place. And the 1st and 2nd place go to the advance to the World Championship qualifier. That's really nice. And the 3rd place, bummer for 3rd place, gets $600. So that's pretty good. And the 4th place, $500. 5th place, $400. 6th place, $300. 7th place, $250. 8th place, $200. 9th place, $180. 10th is $160. $160. 11th is $140. 12th is $120. 13th is $100. A crisp $100 bill. See, now you can get a $100 bill right there, but with a $1,000, it's kind of hard to get a $1,000 bill. But you can get a $100 bill. I know that. And $90 for 14th. 15th is $80. 16th is $70. So that's exactly how the breakdown is. So at least you get your money back if you're even in last place. You know, you pay what, $45 and you get 70. You get gas money. But it's better than nothing. So you get your money back. That's really good. And the winner pulls home $1,000. And in conclusion, where yesterday we talked about like the Speedway races, the old history of Speedway races. I love the history of American Speedway. Hopefully you can watch that video vlog. And we talked about Jack Milne. I did a vlog on him and his brother Cordy and Lemmy Lemerau. And Lemmy went ahead during the World War II. Actually, all of them, you know, it kind of reminds me of today. That's why I want to tell this story. That, you know, when these guys were running, I mean, you had like Jack Milne and Cordy and Lemmy. They were like famous superstars racing over the pond in England. And then World War II broke out. What a crappy thing. Today we have the COVID thing. And back in World War II, they had like the World War II is what they had. And these guys were good. They were like world champions. And they had to come home and like forget all their ambitions to race for world championships. The war totally screwed up their life. And today, the COVID kind of like messed a lot of people's lives up also, the racers. But I wanted to talk about Lemmy Lemerau. Lemmy went ahead, came home from Europe, and and Jack and Cordy built businesses, motorcycle dealerships and car dealerships. But Lammy went ahead and was a Speedway race promoter. So I thought that was really cool. And I'm thinking about today, that's why I'm kind of relating about how this works. Lammy went ahead and continued Speedway races during World War II. And that was pretty cool. So like everyone was worried about the war and stuff. And Lammy was like, hey, everybody, we got Speedway. And I'm sure Jack and Cordy was racing and Lammy was racing and all these guys. So that's pretty cool that Speedway continued, you know. And also today, Steve Evans, with the COVID, is continuing the Speedway. Tomorrow night, we have the final race of the year. And all year, Steve Evans has been running Perris Raceway, even through the COVID times. And it kind of reminds me of the old days when Jack Milne, when they raced for the World Championship and the World War II, they had to stop. Everyone was, and then Lammy went ahead and continued promoting, like Steve Evans is doing today. Congratulations, Steve. We love it. So no one's stopping Speedway, and it's really cool. Some tracks are stopped, but not all. We're gonna keep the sport alive and keep these young riders. You know, you need seat time to get better. You can't get seat time sitting home eating popcorn. You gotta race, you gotta have that experience. And we have a ton of young riders right now. They need what? They need seat time. And so thank you, Steve Evans, for providing that for tomorrow night and the whole year we've had at the Perris Raceway. So if I could give any advice to the young riders, it would be basically to relax, to take it easy, to take a deep breath, to think the race with your mind. It's really easy for young riders. I used to race against young riders a lot. And it's easy for young riders to get excited, to want to use more throttle, to get really crazy, you know, really get excited and hyped up. Don't do that. Just relax, be calm. Don't get too like juiced up. Just instead of spending your time like getting excited about like racing, which I know it's easy for all young riders. Me too, I remember that. But don't do that, and just think about like your starts. You know, think about what's going to happen when you go out. When you have those 7 minutes in between the races. Think about your next race. Look at the program and see who you race. Look at your track position, your pole positions. See where you're located. Think about your starts. Think about where you're going to start from, what you're going to do, how you're going to enter the first turn, how you're going to run your race, and think about beforehand. Think about the race, not during the race. Spiritually create your race before the race begins, and just calm down and be mechanical about it, but don't get too excited with your throttle, but also just use your brains and also calm down, and it will do really well for you. So that's my best advice. And we want to wish everyone good luck tomorrow. I know that you guys will do well. The FIM AMA World Championship Qualifier is a great event to race. I'm sure even if you don't win it, it's something you'll remember for the rest of your life. I was in one of them a long time ago. So the 78 World Qualifier at the Santa Ana Bowl. The Santa Ana Bowl. Do you remember that track? It's a long quarter-mile track around the football field. And I did pretty well. I got 4th place in the AMA World Qualifier. And Denny Pyatt won that race. And Bobby Boogaloo Schwartz got 2nd place in that event. And Mike Spider-Man Bloom got 3rd. And I got 4th. I was mad. I was like, I want to win that race. Denny Pyatt won, rest in peace. But I got 4th. I still kicked myself in the butt. You know, I wanted to win that. So, and then 5th place and 6th place went to Faria and Mike Bast. So we had some really good riders in that race, and we rode really hard back in '78. So we want to wish all you guys good luck. It's a wonderful experience. I remember mine. I'm still mad. I want to win. And I'm sure if you have fire in your spirit, you're gonna want to win too. Don't be complacent about losing. Always be mad because you didn't win. Like me, I'm very mad. So what makes it so wonderful is that there's so many young riders in Speedway today, and the developing, and like to get this chance of racing, like we said. And America has a rich history of Speedway. That's one thing as an American. And if you're watching from Europe, you gotta like plug your ears a little bit. But as an American, we have a rich tradition of Speedway. We have rich tradition of Speedway riders. And we have guys like Bruce Penhall. Of course, everybody watched Greg Hancock win multiple world championships and GP races. And we have Sudden Sam Ermolenko, Billy Hamill, and the list goes on and on and on. And we have also other great riders like the Siggy, Dennis Segalos, the Moran brothers, and we have Scott Autry, the famous Scott Autry. Do you remember Scott? We have lots of famous riders who didn't make the World Championship stage or didn't win, but they are famous riders in American history. And so we want to invite all you riders to remember that America has a rich tradition, rich history in Speedway, and we were pretty good Speedway riders in our day. So go ahead and ride with a little bit of an edge and know that we are Americans and we expect the best from ourselves. So, and do that, expect the best from yourself and you will have success. So go ahead and think about that. So good luck to everyone tomorrow night at the Perris Raceway. Stay safe and stay smart. And thank you so much for watching the live stream tonight. We really appreciate you visiting and hanging out with us. I hope this records. So thank you so much. And we want to wish you the best of luck tomorrow night at 7 p.m. at the Perris Raceway. I'm excited to see how it goes, and you should be too. So thanks again for watching this live stream. We wish everybody the best. Stay healthy, no crashes, and have a great time. So thank you so much. So please like, share, subscribe.